What's good, people? Welcome back. Today we're going to be playing Dragon Age Veilguard. As you can see in the title, is this the most woke platinum experience? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to wait till the end of the video to see what I thought from someone who's 100% of the game. So 52 achievements, lots of different things in here. Story achievements, decision achievements, towards the end a secret ending achievement, some combat stuff. Nothing too difficult, but yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this one. Obviously, when creating my character, I gave him the biggest bulge possible and the biggest ass possible. My man is built like a dump truck. Gotta live my dreams somewhere, because reality isn't so fair. Am I right, boys? But yeah, you can see some weird glitches as well. It's a bit glitchy, this game on PC. You can see the hairs flying around. There's some weird lighting glitches in there as well. Maybe it's just on PC, but you got that to look forward to. First achievement on this list, part 1, the Mimrathus job. We get this one for completing the prologue. Pretty good start to the game. Introduces Solus, who we'll be having to deal with kind of going forward here. Quick achievement for kicking someone off of a ledge or knocking them off of a ledge during combat. Falling for you. This will happen a lot throughout your playthrough anyway. Part 2, Ruins Reach. This one's for completing part 2 of the story. Part 3, Awakening, just like the one previous, it's just a story achievement you get for making your way through the game. Between a Rook and a Hard Place, this one's pretty easy. You'll get this, no doubt, really early on. You just need to perform 5 takedowns on enemies, which just happens constantly throughout when they're staggered. Rune for Improvement, you get this one when you first get the runes. I didn't even really use these throughout the game, but again, I was just on the normal difficulty, so it wasn't that hard unless you were kind of severely underleveled. But yeah, you'll find loads of these. Part 4, Teverwinter Nights. This one, again, another story achievement for making our way through this section of the game. A Rook-like shiny things. This is an interesting one and pretty important for the game. Throughout the game, you need to collect mementos, and these are things you take to the caretaker in the lighthouse, and this basically lets you kind of upgrade gear and add enchantments a bit later on. Pretty important because if you miss certain areas of the game or you aren't really focused on actually finding these things, even though they're pretty much hidden in plain sight, I think this one is semi-missable, but luckily we didn't have any problems with that one. A Faction's Favor. This one, throughout the game, you can upgrade faction merchants, basically by getting different items that you collect throughout the game, and also by completing quests for them. So you'll need to get all of these to max. There is one eventually after a certain decision that ends up being in the crossroads, so it's important to max that one as well. Part 5, Anvelanim. This is again for completing an area of the story, nice and simple. Continuing on from part 5, we've got part 6, again, another story-related trophy. Part 7, another one. We've got another story-related trophy. Funny that they put them in parts on this one, but again, you'll get this just from playing the game. Nostalgia Trip. A bit interesting that I got this one from how I did, as you can see. I imagine most people just yeeted themselves off the edge of the lighthouse verge, but yeah, for some reason I got it here, but yeah, I'll take that. We'll plow through these ones, but basically it's multiple achievements that are all within relation to Fen'Harel's memory, so having a look into Solus's past. I believe you collect these around the crossroads in the different areas. I think Morrigan gives you one. But yeah, you end up getting these and you have to watch the cutscenes, and your team have a little debrief afterwards, which is always fun. And then you get these achievements. I think we've got 6 of these ones. Clear Minds and Open Hearts. This one, I think, again, is a missable trophy. This one more missable than the other ones. But as long as you're making loads of saves, it's not a big deal. You basically have to convince Mythal with a few different dialogue choices to help you without having to fight her. Again, I won't explain any more of this, don't want to spoil anything, but obviously she ends up having an effect a bit later in the game. Part 8, No Sacrifice Greater, another story trophy. Well, as you can see here, I was trying to go down a romance path with Neve. I feel like she's probably the best of a bad bunch that I didn't really want to choose from. The right choice is probably Emmerich. But yeah, I'd love to see who you guys went with. We'll get on to who I ended up choosing by accident later on in the video. Stacking the deck for spending at least 52 points in Rook's skill tree. You can see pretty much throughout the gameplay that I used the Spell Blade. Pretty cool. The dodging, a little bit dodgy. Don't know if it's just a class or if it's just the game itself. But yeah, feels a bit weighted at times. But again, the game's pretty easy, so there needs to be something, right? As you can see here, this is the moment I ended up locking myself into a romance option with Tash. I did not realise that's what I was doing at the time. It was definitely interesting to go down this path because you get what people consider to be the woke dialogue and you get kind of pretty much all of it. There are some really cringe moments where it's like, yeah, your character says to her like, oh, well, at least you're a good kisser. And then there's like a weird silence. It's a really strange one. I don't know. Wasn't really into it myself, but yeah, interesting one to go down. And yeah, that's where I ended up. A most esteemed purveyor. Few people are worthy of this invitation, you know. This one is basically a trophy for going into the Black Emporium, which you'll get as just a side quest. You get invited, you turn up there, and you get the trophy. A Rook really likes shiny things. This is for returning 80 mementos to the caretaker, similar to what we explained and saw earlier. Part 9, Bombs and Blackened Wings, another story trophy. Annihilation in Arlathan. So this one is for helping out the Veil Jumpers. Each faction has kind of a general main quest that you go through with them. I don't think they're mandatory. I think part of them are mandatory. But you want to do them anyway because some of them are pretty cool. And if you're a completionist, you can't avoid that, can you? Part 10, The Blood of Arlathan, another story-related trophy. Across the Imperial Highway, a nice one there. Didn't even know I got this one. It just kind of popped up as I was exploring and doing side quests, so you probably come naturally if you're doing the majority of things, I imagine. A Song from Stone. So with this one, we've got to help Harding on her side quest. There's one for every companion. Every companion has a kind of main side quest as well for them. They actually are really cool. I wasn't the biggest fan of a lot of the companions, but we'll talk about that at the end a little bit more. But yeah, so we'll have to help out all of them going through this one. So for a new calling, you have to help Davrim with his final companion quest. The choice I made here is to release Hassan. I feel like the Wardens using the Griffins just to fight wars when they are kind of mystical creatures. The only character I really cared about was Hassan, and obviously the skeleton dude we'll talk about later. But yeah, I mean, best to free him with his family to his rightful place in the woods. Reflections. This one's for helping out Balara with her side quest, main quest, story type thing. Death becomes him. Final decision on this one of Emmerich's final quest for his companion side quest. You get a choice. Do you want Emmerich to be a lich, or do you want Manfred to not die? And since Manfred, along with Hassan, was probably the only characters, well, I loved Emmerich as well, to be honest, that I really cared about. Obviously, I bring Manfred back to life, because how could you not? Who else would I play rock, paper, scissors with at the lighthouse, eh? Little dragon we get for helping out Tash. I remember just kind of going with the kind of faction or part of her family that I thought they wanted or would fit more in, the less kind of like angry let's kill things one. But yeah, that's how we got this one. The Light in the Dark for finishing, similar to what we mentioned for the Veil Jumpers earlier. The main side quest story of the Grey Wardens. The Soul of the City. We have to aid the Shadow Dragons in their fight to reveal the corruption that has happened in Rathus. You basically get a choice of which person you want to be in charge, essentially. I went with the lady, can't remember her name. The other guy felt a bit dodgy. I feel like she had the more experience. It was a little bit of a strange decision to have to make there. I don't think either way there's any outcome that changes this. I think you can choose generally whoever you want. But yeah, went with her in this case. The Supernatural and Strange, this one was to aid the Morn Watch. You basically have to go around and fight demons in all of the other areas. There really isn't too much to show on this one. You basically just complete various quests for them where you fight a demon. Some of the demons are pretty cool, actually. I think there was one that was like shaped as a box or something. But yeah, bit of a strange one because it's not as straightforward as the other ones in the sense of here's a quest, here's a story. It's just like, hey, escape demons, go and kill them. But yeah, that's that one. The Talons of Vengeance was one that we get for helping out the crows. I thought this one was really cool, actually. I think it kind of went a little bit downhill, not as good towards the end of this kind of faction story. But I'm pretty sure I remember fighting that blood kind of witch girl like at the beginning, unless that was Lucanus's, but that was really cool. So yeah, that's why we got this one. City of Shadows you get for helping Neve. Similar to the other ones, we've got Blood Ties for helping out Lucanus with his main side quest. A New Look, got this one really late on because I just didn't feel the need to change the items. I kind of like go for the min-max, so I like it when my character looks like an absolute weirdo because I've got like the maximum stats in each spot. We got the Unbound and Bringing Down the Sky pretty much simultaneously on this one. Bringing Down the Sky is for defeating all the high dragons, and the Unbound is for defeating the one you can see. This one was pretty difficult. I tried to fight this at like 15 levels too low at first and it kicked my ass, so I waited till the end of the game and just bring back a Hail Mary and wrecked it. I wonder what this was like on the hardest difficulty. If you played it, let me know, but I could see it being a bit challenging, but on this difficulty it was pretty much easy, especially at the level that I was. Cool for Coin and Company, bit of a strange place to get this achievement I thought, but when you fight the Blighted Dragon within the Crossroads, which also is actually a really cool fight. It was a bit of a tough one, probably the hardest one in the game. Again, not that hard considering I was playing on normal difficulty and was at actually the right level for this one, unlike the Blighted one. But this fight is actually really cool. I love the idea that if you had gone down certain dialogue options with Mythal, she'll actually come and help you in this one, which was really cool. But yeah, we get this one here for defeating that Blighted Dragon. In Peace, this is an interesting one. I believe you need to complete the Grey Warden's side quest, the main story for these guys for this one. But we had to go around and collect these flowers that appeared afterwards, and then go to where we fought in one of the story quests, where we fought the 2 dragons. But yeah, if you go down to this area, you'll find a ghost, and you can give them the flowers, and you get In Peace. I think this might be needed for the secret ending, but definitely want to look up if you're following along doing it yourself. No Real Gods, this one's for collecting all of the statues that are within this game, the ones that get you extra health and the ones that you can find the mementos from. So I had one left to do, which was this one, which I pretty much forgot about and then ended up doing at the end of the game. Enhancements, this was an interesting one. It's probably my fault for not being intelligent enough to go around and upgrade my weapons as I went throughout the game. I basically just amassed a load of silver towards the end of the game and then had to try and figure out which accessory I needed to buy to upgrade it to the Legendary Edition. But yeah, I'd recommend just use your silver as you go, because by the end of the game I'd done everything and I just had infinite silver and I was probably just had crap gear for the whole time. But yeah, you know, probably a good idea. Now, before we get into the final quest, it's important, as you can see, we needed to get the screen in this state, and to do that we needed to complete all of the companion side quests to make them heroes of the Veilguard, and we needed to complete all of the side factions and get them to the maximum level, and this is basically so you can get the best ending. So if you want the best ending, you generally have to do a fair amount of the game anyway, but yeah, important to note for the mission going forward, really. Part 11, this is the beginning of the final mission. We get this one for just progressing through that. Part 12, the best tales. This is getting through the second part. This is one of the major parts of the final kind of mission here. Your choices do matter in the final mission. I believe even if you have your companions as heroes of the Veilguard, it's still important who you choose. So generally choosing like, oh, if someone needs to be good with magic, then you can choose someone like Neve, or you can choose someone like Balara. Or if someone needs to be strong at fighting mages, you probably choose Lucanus, right? So there are some important ones that you need to make. So definitely keep an eye on that if you are going to attempt this yourself. It's probably the most important part of the game in regards to actually making the right decisions. But yeah, definitely want to know, and you also have somewhat of a choice over what character ends up possibly maybe disappearing. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on that if you're looking at it yourself. Part 13, the last gambit. This is getting towards the end of the game. There is another big decision coming up with regards to Solus. I definitely would just point that out. You should probably look that one up. The specific dialogue choices that you need to do to get what I assume is the best ending in the game. Again, I think you need to do this part, but yeah, definitely worth checking. Obviously, I followed a guide for pretty much this whole section to make sure I wasn't making an incorrect decision with regards to getting the trophies, but definitely something to keep an eye on for yourselves. Part 14, the Dreadwolf Rises. This is for finishing off the game. We finally did it. We completed it. Really easy achievement list there for this generally, and the ones that last. Quick spoiler ahead, so I'll give you a second to skip forward. Alright, if you're still here, you get this one for having all your companions survive, apart from the one that meant to die. which I believe is an option between 2 of them, but I won't say their names anyway. If you played it this far, you know who it is and you know what happens, but that won't affect you getting this achievement because there's no way to avoid that. And now we get the Storm Quelled, which is the Platinum Trophy. It's the final achievement. We need 52 out of 52. Just with regards to this one, there's these weird floaty spinny things which I'll show you in the gameplay. You need to collect these. I feel like there's a few other things you need to do with regards to getting this one, but I know that's one of the main ones that you need to get there. But yeah, this was really interesting to see at the end. Obviously they're planning out another game, but other than that, we managed to reach the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed it. As for whether this is the most woke platinum, I mean probably, because there's not much woke stuff out there really, but overall, I mean, the dialogue was a bit weak at times, and I feel like the way they had handled Tash's character was done really well initially, and then it just kind of went into kind of explaining things like your 2 and generally kind of droning through it, and there only being understanding for Tash's character and not the understanding on the other way where, oh, they don't understand it, it's not normal in their culture, and then it is normal in their culture. Interesting anyway, doesn't bother me. I feel like it's not the same kind of full Dragon Age experience you might have come to expect, my favourite being the first one, but really good game overall. I don't think the hate's warranted, it's decent, it's not as good as some of the other ones, but I enjoyed it. The combat's really fun, the stories, yeah, it's alright, and the companions, yeah, they're alright. I mean, I like Emmerich, I like his skeleton dude, I like, oh, what's his name? I like the Griffin anyway. But other than that, not that fussed. Lucanus is kind of cool, yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed the game overall. Definitely recommend you give this one a go for yourselves if you enjoy RPGs, platinums. I think it only took me like 52 hours. I do skip a bit of dialogue, but I read it. So quite a fun one to do if you enjoy this kind of game. Other than that, let me know what you think I should platinum next. I'm working on AC Valhalla, but I'll probably do one between that because Jesus Christ, that's taken a long time. And there's so much DLC. But yeah, let me know what you think I should do. Subscribe to join the journey. Let me know if you have any tips about how I should be managing these videos to push down this content and make it a bit more as entertaining as possible, really. But yeah, appreciate your time, guys. I hope you have a great day.